The Idolmaster Cinderella Girls has come long ways since its debut in 2011, starting off as a social game for mobile phones, and then receiving an anime adaptation in 2015, followed by a rhythm game for smartphones released on the same year, known as Starlight Stage. The latest installment is Idolmaster's current highest-grossing app on both the iOS Store and Google Play, and it's safe to say that Starlight Stage is doing well, especially when we consider the fact that it's almost reaching its 5th year anniversary. What some players may not know about the game, and the franchise in general, is that it's also supported by content received from Cinderella Girls' spin-off manga adaptations. The manga series have 3 serialized titles: U149, After 20, and Wild Wind Girl, and these have helped grow Starlight Stage's in-game content, whether it be through new songs, watchable videos, or new voices for the unvoiced idols featured in any of the adaptations. While the 3 titles have their own plots independent from each other, they still play an important role in giving content not just for the game, but for the idols as well, as their stories expand on the lives of the Cinderella girls involved. The manga adaptations are unfortunately not available in English, but if you do know Japanese, you may be in luck, because some of these titles are available digitally and are freely accessible. However, if you do not know Japanese, but are still very much interested in learning how these adaptations influence Starlight Stage content, then sit back and relax as we walk you through the 3 summaries of all these serializations. Starting with U149, written by Bandai Namco Entertainment and illustrated by Kyono. The first chapter was released on October 15th of 2016. U149 stands for Under 149. 149 is presumably the length in centimeters, as the cast mainly features the younger idols who are under 149 centimeters. The official subtitle of the series is written in English. This story is about growth of little idols and their little producer. The main idols are as follows: Arisu, Momoka, Haru, Risa, Koharu, Miria, Chie, Kaoru, and Nina. The story begins with the idols frequently visiting the office at the idol agency. The idols hang around the office aimlessly, with no producer assigned to them, thus leaving them without jobs to help their idol career. That is, until a new producer entered the agency, excited to begin his new job. However, the idols he was assigned to left him a bit disappointed, as he was expecting to produce idols much older in age. Nonetheless, seeing how these girls were in desperate need of a producer, he delighted them by agreeing to produce and help nurture them as idols. Starting from ground zero, the idols now work on making their name known. The story paces itself by having each character go through developments one after another. These developments involve the relationship between idol and producer, fear and anxiety, and what it means to be an idol. Each girl has their own shortcomings that interferes with their growth as an idol, and it's up to the producer and the rest of the girls to help overcome each other's obstacles. The series began selling physical volumes bundled with special CDs, and these CDs would include special dramas, and also unique duos and solos of already existing songs from the Cinderella Girls discography. On a couple of releases, they included original songs such as Do-Re-Mi Factory and Akogare Stitch, with Do-Re-Mi Factory being ported to Starlight Stage as an event for Haru and Momoka. Akogare Stitch is assumed to be added to Starlight Stage later as Chie's solo in the main story. If you want to read more about U149, the first chapter is freely accessible on CyComics' website, and the rest of the chapters are also accessible on CyComics' smartphone app. Moving on to After 20, written also by Bandai Namco Entertainment and illustrated by Nigo Han. The first chapter was released on December 23rd of 2017. Because the cast mainly features idols who are much older, we assume that the number 20 symbolizes age, as the manga gives focus to idols who are either in their 20s or older. The spin-off gives much more focus to Kaede, Mizuki, Miyu, Sanae, and Shino. And aside from being 20 older, these idols are often shown to be drinking alcohol in the manga. Laws in Japan prohibit citizens under the age of 20 to consume alcohol, so the title of this spin-off really works well with its theme. This manga is admittedly a lot less plot-driven than the U149 spin-off, and contains more of a slice-of-life feel to it. It mostly shows the idols having a good time by trying out new food, drinking sake, or participating in regular idol activities. While there isn't much room for development, it's still content that focuses on the older cast, in which they can do activities that a lot of idols and Cinderella girls can't do because they're just too young. The spin-off was maybe written to appeal to the older producers who are more likely to find this content very relatable. Traditionally, Idolmaster has been giving spotlight to mainly teenage idols, and any plot-based works usually revolve around them. We don't get to see much of what goes on for the older idols, so it's nice to have a manga dedicated to showing how adults deal with their everyday lives while being an idol. There are physical releases for After 20, with bundled editions that include a CD. However, there are no original songs, leaving you with already existing songs sung by the idols of the manga. In November of 2019, Bandai Namco released a special video for Cinderella Girls' 8th anniversary, which was titled literally as Spin-Off, and it stars Nao, Chitose, Shiki, Risa, and Shin. This special is known for giving Risa her debut voice, and was later made available to watch on the Starlight Stage app through the Cinderella Theater page. A month later, After 20 released a chapter that further expanded on the special, revealing the cast behind the scenes during the filming. While only 1 out of the 5 featured idols were After 20, it was still about Shin making it into the film through one audition. If you'd like to learn more about the After 20 idols, you can read more on the CyComics website, with the first chapter being free, and the rest of the chapters accessible on CyComics' smartphone app, with the first 10 chapters free to read. And finally, we reach Wild Wind Girl, written by Bandai Namco Entertainment and illustrated by Misaki Sako. This manga started during the spring of 2016, making this the earliest to release out of the 3 spin-offs, and also the only one out of the 3 to be released only on paperback, as it was part of the monthly Shonen Champion magazine in Japan. Wild Wind Girl primarily focuses on Takumi Mukai, a female delinquent known as a Yankee in Japanese terms, who is also a leader of a biker gang. She has a rough personality and has prowess in fighting, having been in over 100 fights. Takumi encompasses many stereotypes of a delinquent, and these stereotypes help lead her into the path of an idol. In the beginning of the story, she is shown taking care of a stray cat, a famous stereotype for delinquents. A man with a shady appearance encounters Takumi and begins to hit on her, to which she responded by giving him a pack of injuries and flees the scene as soon as she hears police sirens. The next day, she finds that the cat she was taking care of went missing, and assumes the person she met from the day before may be responsible. She finds the man in an office and assaults him once more, in assumption that he was responsible for the cat's disappearance. Soon enough, the cat walks into the office and she learns the man was actually taking care of it. The shady man reveals himself to be a producer who is supposed to scout for idols, and while the office is currently in desperate need of more idols, he takes this opportunity to bring Takumi into the idol industry. While Takumi, who takes pride in being a Yankee, refuses to become something she sees as superficial, the producer takes advantage of his injuries from the earlier misunderstanding and insists that she take responsibility of his injuries by help fulfilling his request. Takumi has strong convictions as a Yankee, and her pride is being tested as the producer talks down on delinquents, saying they no longer have a sense of responsibility. Takumi angrily takes the bait and accepts his request as a one-time only job. Of course, someone who is normally rough and poor-mannered would have a hard time fulfilling the expectations of an idol. Being an idol for the first time was an embarrassment for Takumi when she had to come outside of her comfort zone. As she waited backstage for her miserable night to end, she looked at other idols performing and then looked to the crowd, where she starts feeling a wind, similar to the wind she felt while riding her motorcycle. This wind brought curiosity to Takumi, who wonders how something she sees as so superficial could give her that feeling. There is still hesitation for Takumi to become an idol when she already has a job leading her gang. She later meets a few of the other girls who she thought were unusual and unfit to be idols, but still becomes idols regardless of what they're seen as. Seeing those examples will help Takumi, a usually strong and fierce girl, take steps further into becoming an idol, even if she defies all those expectations. There is more to be read about Takumi's journey, but unfortunately, the chapters are not digital and can only be bought on paperback. But buying physical copies of the manga is definitely not a bad thing. There are special bundled editions that include audio dramas and original songs. These original songs include Virgin Love, sung by Takumi and Rina Fujimoto under the duo known as Naughty Gals. Virgin Love was later ported to Starlight Stage as an event for the two idols. Hono no Hana, a solo song by Takumi, and Love Has Come, a solo song by Rina, were also later added to Starlight Stage as part of the main story. While these spin-off adaptations are not the main driving force for Cinderella Girl's popularity and performance, they still contribute greatly by providing us with different angles of our idols because a game can only give so much depth. Because there are truly great reads, especially for people who have loved reading manga and the Idolmaster series, you may try reading them and find a new favorite idol by reading some of these stories. Hopefully these summaries bring interest to our viewers and get them to start buying copies of the manga to help support Cinderella Girl's lifespan.